Hey, hello there. This is a new podcast we would like to announce. Data Pancakes. My name is Piet Hein Strengelt. I'm the Chief Data Officer for Microsoft the Netherlands. And next to me, we also have.
Hi all, my name is Sharat Shashidharan. I work as a senior program manager on the Fabric customer advisory team. So happy and excited to take you on this journey of data pancakes.
Well, you might wonder why the heck do these two people choose a name Data Pancakes? And maybe, Sarat, you should help me a bit because you have a colleague who also does a podcast and they have called that Synapse Espresso, right?
For sure, Peter. So I think we are definitely inspired, and many of you have been looking at Synapse Expresso and the great videos they do publish. So we had a natural inclination to go close to what is being published. And both Peter and myself have a history of working with data platforms, and that's one of the reasons why we thought, okay, this would be an apt name, right? And just like Synapse Espresso, we do intend to do smaller videos, like 15 minutes max, where we talk about data platforms, data mesh, and related information.
Yeah, and the funny part, I think, an espresso is something you can drink relatively, I think, fast. So it's a snippet or an easy digestible, I think, episode. But pancakes are actually quite bigger, and that I think also leaves us room for doing maybe longer videos or deep dives in areas like data mesh, data domains, data products. So that's why we also came up with this name, pancakes. So why the need for another podcast then? Well, we see these days data management is really hard. And to make it concrete, maybe let's put up a slide. And this is a typical starting point for lots of organizations who would like to transition to maybe a more modern way of working and using data at large. But yeah, what we typically see here on this screen, so we see on one hand, we see lots of applications and interfaces, point-to-point distribution of data. So consider this as the starting point. On the left, we usually see business teams utilizing their applications for their operations. On the right hand side, we see business teams or users that rely on that data. So that's being managed, maintained by those other business teams on the left. And then typically there's one central IT party overseeing this full end-to-end architecture and managing all of these applications. And there are quite some pain points. So when we talk to customers or when I talk to other chief data officers, usually that central IT team has quite a long backlog. So delivering new use cases takes really long. There's poor data quality within this architecture because you see massive data duplication, but also the teams utilizing these applications for their operational needs are also typically not the owners or the people most interested in that data because those are people who sit on the right hand side. Because of the many point-to-point interfaces, the architecture is also fragile, meaning if you make changes to individual applications, sometimes you see a cascading effect of or rippling effect of changes then again you need to make in order to ensure robust data processing between all of these different applications. There might be inconsistencies between data sets you use because of the duplicates and the distribution you see. It's hard to get insights and to have an overview. It's hard to end-to-end see, so what is the quality, the lineage within this architecture. And also mainly we see among customers there is quite some tremendous work that has been put into what we call these days enterprise data warehousing for the group reporting or the group financial overviews you need to produce. And I think at last we see sometimes hidden self-service interfaces where it's hard to get a grasp on what happens with the data in such an environment, which again can be a potential security risk. So that's more, I think, on a high level, conceptually what we see. But in practice, and maybe that's a transition to you then, Sarat. So we also see problems, pain points, right?
Definitely behind. So just to add to what behind just mentioned, so that those are basically quite important points which we are trying to solve, right? So we do see that there's a lot of information out there. So we have been discussing this, but basically the practical implementation of how to do this, that's an area where we think that Fabric and Purview can play a big role in solving this challenge. Me and Behind in this series, we are going to talk about how can you do exactly this. So we are going to look at these concepts, teach you the concepts initially, and then get into the implementation details of how can you actually work this out in practice on Microsoft Fabric and using Purview.
Yeah, and for that, you see, we also have created a slide. So here you see very much high level the concept, the theory of data mesh, the principles. And the common theme among many customers is how to implement these principles or this way of working in concretely these products we offer as Microsoft, so Microsoft Purview and Microsoft Fabric on the other hand.
Exactly. And this is where I think we are going to provide you a lot of value in the coming next episodes, where we are going to talk about how basically introduces the concepts of data mesh, data products, and then how does that map into Fabric. So how can we set that up on Fabric? What are the concepts? How do they map to physical components on Fabric? So this is exactly the dilemma which we are going to solve with this series going ahead.
Yeah, and the idea also, Sarat, you and I discussed, is to make this really concrete and digestible. So we will take subjects one after another, and sometimes it will be a bit more high level, conceptual, to ensure readers will understand. So why are these concepts at first necessary? And then next we will zoom into more the practicality. So how to make it concrete then in the solution architecture, how to build actual data product, how to publish it in the catalog. And yeah, we have done some brainstorming, and there's quite a list of topics, so that you and I we would like to present to you. Do you have some examples?
Yeah, definitely, Vinay. So, as we said, we'll stick on to our initial goal of making it snackable. So, it will be quite small. So, each episode, we make sure that it doesn't extend a lot. So, we'll just go through the concepts and make sure that you guys actually see it in practice. So, we are talking about the first few episodes where we will introduce you to the concepts of data mesh, right? So, Behind has been a front runner on this, so we do expect that we'll have some very easy terminology where we could explain, okay, how what is a data product, what is a data mesh, what is a data contract. So these are things which we will bring up in our series, followed by how do we get this into motion inside Microsoft Fabric as well as Microsoft Purview.
Great. And I think in addition to that, I also see room for maybe other subjects like master data management or data governance or the personas you usually would need for driving, I think, the initiatives at scale. So those were also, I think, subjects we would like to add to this. And yeah, on the name, maybe coming back to that point, so Data Pancakes, we also would like to use that as an analogy for maybe discussing some of these subjects. So a data product, for instance, you can also imagine and see this as a pancake, where maybe the kitchen then is the inner architecture of a domain itself. So well, we will also try to use pragmatic examples and connect these to concepts in real life to make it clear, hopefully, for you.
Great. So thanks a lot. And we hope that you will stay with us on this long journey. We have a lot of episodes planned already. And in our next episode, we are going to actually work on introducing you to the concept of the data platforms. What does data mesh mean? And also to sync on the terminology which are used inside data mesh world. So thanks a lot and stay with us on this journey.